Welcome to the complete guide to SQL injections. Quick synopsis of this course. In this first section, we're going to be talking about just getting set up, a little bit about why SQL injection still matters in 2021, and if it's still relevant. In section 2, this is really where a lot of the weight comes in. Section 2 is going to be very important. Once we get a good grasp on section 2, it'll make the rest of the sections a little bit easier for us. So in section 2, we're going to talk about what is SQL, what is the database, how do they work, and we're going to learn how to write SQL queries. And it's important because once you understand SQL syntax, it makes the rest of the sections a little bit easier to understand. Section 3, we'll be talking about the different types of SQL injection. Specifically in this course, we're going to be talking about in-band SQL injection and inferential SQL injection. And then in section 4, we're going to be exploiting in-band SQL injection. And then section 5, we'll be talking about exploiting inferential SQL injection. So inferential SQL injection would be the time-based SQL injection, when in section 4, the in-band SQL injection would be error-based SQL injection. In section 6, we'll be using some tools like SQL Map to help us with data exploitation, post-exploitation, and bypassing any sort of filters. We'll talk about that in SQL section 6. And then section 7, the most important thing of all is we'll be talking about how to fix the findings that we discover. If we've identified SQL injection, it's not necessarily always good to just be exploiting it, but we want to be able to help our developers and help our organizations harden their securities. We want to be able to explain them how to fix it and mitigate the misconfigurations or vulnerabilities. Also, there's going to be a quick section 8 where we just wrap up the course. There are some prerequisites for the course. You'll need to be familiar with the command line interface. We're going to be spending a lot of time on it, especially when we get to using SQL Map and some of our other tools. So you'll need to be familiar with moving around the command line. You also are going to need to have an interest in security and learning. This is a 2-hour course, and we're going to cover everything you need to do database exploitation. But there's always the ability to go deeper and learn more, and you may want to do that on your own. Some additional information. Depending on when you take this course, there may or may not be a lab environment set up for you to use, a virtualized lab environment. If there's not, then what you'll need to do is you'll need to install a Kali VM on your system. You can do that using VMware VirtualBox and download the appropriate images. Those are some of the statistics that you'll need for your virtual machine. You'll also need to download Metasplittable 2. We'll talk about that in the next video, which is going to be setting up the lab.